Her husband passed away before he could see the infants when the wife went into delivery. Then, an even more terrible incident occurred during the man's burial. Welcome to USA Stories channel. Do not forget to subscribe and activate the bell button to receive all new updates. Now let's go to the story. Ivan Saku was a conscientious and moral person. He avoided difficulties of any type and thought he had a promising future. But very quickly, events transpired that were completely different from his expectations. At 26, Ivan knew exactly what he wanted out of life and put a lot of effort into reaching his objectives. It was obvious to everyone that he was a workaholic. Gordon, his closest buddy, used to make fun of him for working non-stop. "I wonder what you think will happen if you just stop and do nothing," he asked one day. "You will become so bored that you will pass out." Then both men burst out laughing. Ivan was a cheerful person who found happiness in the simplest things. Additionally, it was around this time in his life that he met Caceres, an outgoing and lively woman who would later become his girlfriend. She had an optimistic outlook on life and enjoyed to savor each day as it came. Everyone at the Juan Batista Pediatrics office, where she worked, had nothing but positive things to say about her. Because of her impeccable work ethic, Lena Nimsix, her office manager, truly thought she was indispensable. Caceres was a workaholic, much like Ivan, so it's no wonder they bonded right away. They were meant to be together. It was evident to anyone who saw them, even at a distance, that they possessed something unique. Stephanie's mother saw Ivan's special kind of love immediately when she first met her. Jani, Ivan's aunt, taunted them endlessly about it, saying things like, "You both act like no one else exists when the two of you are together." No one could have predicted that theirs would be just another tragic love story. The two were always a sight to see. Their love deepened over the years, and eventually they made the decision to move in together in the quiet, gay Renaissance apartment on North Military Trail in West Palm Beach. Neighbors envied them for their happy relationship where they resided. Their connection grew much more enriching since they now shared a home. They surprised each other with gifts, went on dates, and dressed alike. You know, love occasionally provides us with a lovely fairy tale in the midst of a regular life. This couple's relationship appeared to be a fantastic love story, but it was actually going in a very tragic path. After lunch one day, Stephanie shocked Ivan by revealing she was expecting a child. Ivan was ecstatic and couldn't wait as he instantly took on the role of his father. Wanting the best for his child, he went shopping for baby gear and did not cut any corners. He even purchased things Caceres thought absurd because the infant wouldn't require them. Not excluded was the expectant mother either. Ivan got more involved in the household and lavished her with care. When Kalani, the baby, finally arrived, her parents could not stop showcasing her. She was the tiny angel of her mother and the little princess of her father. Regarding Ivan, he carried out his parental responsibilities with diligence and admirability. It was quite humorous and endearing to see. Their lovely family was to grow even more ideal not too long after. Caceres became pregnant once more. If Ivan was thrilled the first time, he was ecstatic to learn they were having twins from the ultrasound this time. The family was ecstatic, but in the blink of an eye, all of their pleasure and joy disappeared. It all began on a misfortuneful morning. The quiet of the gated West Palm Beach enclave was disrupted that morning by gunfire. Doors were fastened, windows were closed, lights went out, and everyone scrambled for safety. No one was precisely sure what was going on. The shootings prompted a call to the police. Ivan's body was discovered when they arrived, having been shot many times inside his house. The area had a somber and gloomy appearance that day and was both silent and boisterous. Now severely pregnant, Caceres was unable to even comprehend the events that had just transpired. She was too stunned to say anything when the cops tried to question her. Caceres led Kalani into a room as soon as the catastrophe occurred and instructed her not to leave. "Mom, what's going on? Why is everyone in this place so large? Where is Daddy?" the young child sobbed. Regretfully, the tempest had just begun for her, nor were the neighbors able to provide the police with any relevant information. The sudden and rapid nature of everything left friends and family in complete disbelief. Everyone was puzzled by what had transpired. Ivan's closest friend Gordon was in shock at what had transpired. I didn't think my dearest buddy would do this. This is not fair to anyone." He sobbed. Everyone did everything they could to comfort Cáceres, but it was ineffective. She sobbed for hours at a time. Iván would still be alive if tears alone could bring the dead back to life. She had a lot of questions, but she was at a loss as to what Iván could possibly have done to warrant this. He would never hurt a fly, she would constantly assure her loved ones. Her life, which had been flawless, was upended and would never be the same. Her evenings grew eerie and endless. She was surrounded by friends, neighbors, and relatives, yet she still felt empty. Her mind was filled with all the great memories she had of Iván. She longed for everything to be a dream, anything at all, just so she could wake up and find him by her side. Unfortunately, that would never occur. Above all, she was very upset that he would never get to see the twins. He'd been dreaming about them for the last 2 months, making outlandish promises. He even mentioned the twins in his most recent Instagram post, but he never had the chance to say hello. Cáceres's body and mind were in excruciating pain while funeral arrangements were being made, but she knew she had to be strong. It was what her beloved Iván would have wanted anyhow, for Kehlani and the twins. Cáceres went into labor 3 days after Iván passed away, and he was sent to the hospital immediately to have a cesarean section. Iván Jr. and Layla, her twins, were born a short while after she was taken in. Despite her heart exploding with agony, she greeted the two with the widest grin imaginable. She posted her sorrows on Facebook the day after giving birth. She wrote as follows, "I just cannot fathom how a person could have the courage to abandon 3 children, 2 of whom were never even given the opportunity to meet their father. This wasn't what they deserved. I'm making an effort not to give up, but this has had to be the hardest battle I've ever faced." Cáceres felt an inexplicable power flood her every time she gazed at the twins. Little Kehlani appeared very brave and collected for her age, having already learned by then that her father had died. Cáceres also resolved to make sure she filled the void that Iván had left in the lives of the children. Unfortunately, Cáceres was never able to have his dream granted since life was still giving out its blows. Cáceres became quite unwell soon after the twins were born, and he was brought to the hospital. According to the physicians, she had an infection as a result of the C-section. This mom realized she had to struggle to survive on the hospital bed in order to protect her children. She was prepared to be both the kids' mother and their father. Despite her best efforts, Cáceres's health didn't get better, and she spent 10 days in the critical care unit. The next thing that transpired shocked everyone. Cáceres was still fighting for her life in the hospital on the day of Iván's burial. Her illness had gotten worse by the time they buried her spouse that morning. In an attempt to save her, doctors and nurses sprinted after her. Even though she knew that her life was in danger at that point, she still tried her hardest to survive. She battled until the very end, but regrettably, she was not successful. Everyone who heard the news of her passing was shocked. There were no adequate words to describe everyone's anguish. They all knew they had to be strong for the children, even if it was too much of a burden to bear. It was determined by friends and family that it was best to get past the grief and look ahead to a better future. Everyone promised to be a parent figure to the children and to look out for them. Cáceres' employer, Juani Batista Pediatrics, too had a role to play. To aid with the costs of raising the kids, they set up a GoFundMe page. Family relatives are now taking care of the children. I pray that time will mend the hearts that have been shattered, and I wish the children a lifetime of joy, love, and laughter. Please remember to subscribe to our channel, give us a thumbs up, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of our videos. If you enjoyed the tale, the next video that plays on your screen will probably move you too.